Good evening, Madam Mayor and esteemed council members. I live in the notice area. Let's start with the current issues facing residents in the Disneyland area. Traffic, and more traffic. We have to live with traffic jams on a daily basis, with road closures and detours at the will of Disneyland events is a bonus. People come to Disneyland to have fun, but the local residents bear the brunt of endless problems, air pollution, daily traffic congestion, and noise pollution. Residents on Walnut Street bear a special burden of trespassers, tree works and munching noises, and incessant traffic noise, to mention a few. Within walking and breathing proximity of the proposed construction site are public schools and community facilities that thousands of residents occupy on a daily basis. The traffic problems will only get worse with a project of this scale. These traffic problems affect the daily lives of tens of thousands of people. It is already a bottleneck for parents to drop off their kids at school in the morning around the Disneyland area. Stoddard Elementary School, for instance, is only 1 block away from the proposed construction site. Down the street from Walnut is Bessie Ross, also with hundreds of students enrolled. There's also the YMCA complex, where students spend their after-school hours. A project like Disneyland Forward will only further exacerbate the current problems and harm our health. Take noise pollution. This project will violate the law of noise protection in California. And I quote, Health and Safety Code 46,000. All Californians are entitled to a peaceful and quiet environment without the intrusion of noise which may be hazardous to their health or welfare. It is the policy of the state to provide an environment for all Californians. But how many residents in the impacted zone are not even aware of the scope of this proposed project and how it will hurt their lives for years to come? Imagine having construction cranes flying over the sky as you come home from school, hearing heavy machineries moving around all day long and shaking up your neighborhood. Imagine having to shout every time you need to talk to your children because the construction zone drowns out your voice. When you vote, put yourselves in the place of the residents and answer these questions. 1. Am I willing to put my family in harm's way by voting for this project without understanding the full costs that come with it? 2. Is it ethical for me to ruin the childhood of so many children who will have to suffer from increased noise pollution, air pollution, and all sorts of disruption to their lives should this project ever happen? And 3. Do I have the right to disregard the voices and concerns of the people who are directly impacted by this plan simply because I do not live in the zone and will not need to account for the negative consequences for myself or my family? As a mother of 3 young children, I would like to ask each of you to imagine yourself having to tell your own children, especially school-age children who love their home, that as parents, you have made the wrong choice to make a home for them in Anaheim. That because the city decided to approve this project, you will not be driven out of your home by this frenzy of noise, dust, pollution, overflowing traffic. If you cannot imagine yourself doing that, then do not condemn residents like myself into that wrecking situation. It is imperative that the city of Anaheim inform the public in clear and truthful ways about all the hidden costs, the unavoidable risks, and the endless problems that come with the Disney Forward proposal through communications that are not wrapped in convoluted double talk. Community outreach and public notifications should also reflect the demographics in the area and account for the language plurality of the residents. But first and foremost, to disregard the human cost from a project of this scope is unthinkable. There is the noise pollution, the drain on our local and natural resources, the environmental impacts from having an intense conglomeration of hotels and resorts in a concentrated area like Disneyland, so on and so forth. Today, I'm thinking of all the residents who can't be here. Many residents are entirely left out for one reason or another. In my diverse neighborhood, there are retired teachers, young families, expecting parents, people with chronic conditions, folks with mobility restrictions, elderly people who are confined to their homes, people with disabilities, immigrants who do not speak English, etc. How possible is it for all of these residents to carve out the time to be here to share their concerns? What have you done to ensure that these residents fathom the scales of changes and disruptions that the proposed project will impose upon them? When I attended the informational session last Wednesday at the community room, I was told that the environmental study for this proposal was supposed to be a public process. But how do you define public process when implicated and impacted residents are not even considered in the study? Somehow, even though the project is located within a very densely populated area, the human occupants of that environment had no say and no voice in the study. We were rather mute, and this is appalling and unacceptable. For the city of Anaheim to undertake a project of the scope of Disneyland Forward without the comprehensive and inclusive considerations for all the harm and repercussions to its own residents is unacceptable, unethical, and unsustainable. I commend you to vote no on this item until proper and ethical public discourses and engagement are carried out. Here are a few recommendations. Conduct a comprehensive and inclusive study on the harms and costs of this project that cause local residents. Provide listening sessions for residents to share their concerns and input on the project and whether it is the right thing for Anaheim. Immediately enable a public forum with transparency and integrity to facilitate discussion from residents and concerned citizens. Provide a clear study for the impact of the fiscal implications this project will impose on the local community. For instance, a project of this scale will suck up a large amount of water, which is a precious resource in our city, and so consequently will drive the cost of water up for all residents. Also, taking Magic Way away from the public will cause more bottleneck traffic on Wall and Catella and the adjacent areas. Cerritos is forever chopped up for us. Let us not block off another road from ourselves and generations to come. We voted for you to represent us, all the people of Anaheim. We want to make sure that you do not take lightly our trust, our votes, and our voices. The American democracy is structured in a way that enables all voices to be heard. Your vote will speak the loudest, whether you are a public servant or not. Disneyland claims to be the happiest place on earth. We ask that you do not make our neighborhood the unhappy place on us. Thank you.